You're just driving down a dark highway at night, you've got your favorite playlist on, you're totally relaxed, and then bam.
The blinding wall of light.
Exactly. The car in the oncoming lane crests the hill, and suddenly you're staring into the heart of a dying sun. You're completely blinded.
Yeah, it's basically an assault on your retinas at this point.
Right. And if you feel like nighttime driving has gotten worse lately, you aren't going crazy. Welcome to today's deep dive. We're tearing into a stack of engineering specs, optical research, and regulatory docs to figure out exactly why modern roads feel so blinding to you and, well, what actually makes a headlight safe.
And to really get why you're being blinded, we first have to look under the hood at how these lights are physically generated, because the way a car from, say, 2005 makes light is fundamentally different from a car made today.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Most older cars use halogen bulbs.
Yeah.
My understanding was always that these are basically just like tiny, sophisticated campfires inside a glass tube.
That's essentially it, yeah. A halogen bulb works through thermal emission, so it just shoves electricity through a tiny tungsten wire until it gets so incredibly hot, around 2,500 degrees Celsius, that it just starts glowing.
Wow, that is seriously high.
It is, but because it relies on brute force heat, it's terribly inefficient. Like, about 80% of the energy it consumes is wasted entirely as infrared heat.
Wait, hang on. 80%? So my old car's headlights are basically just space heaters that happen to glow as a byproduct.
Pretty much. That's exactly why they burn out relatively fast. So then the industry moved to HIDs, xenon lights. These ditch the wire entirely and hit a pressurized chamber of gas with a massive 25,000 volt pulse.
That sounds intense.
It creates a glowing plasma arc, much brighter. But LEDs, they're the real shift. They use solid-state electroluminescence.
Okay, solid-state electroluminescence. We're definitely going to need to translate that.
Right. Think of it less like a campfire and more like a microscopic water slide.
Yeah.
You drop electrons down a specific semiconductor chute.
Oh, I see.
And as they drop, the energy they release is pure light. It's instant. It converts up to 90% of the energy directly into light without all that massive heat waste.
Okay, so LEDs are super efficient. It's like pure calculated quantum physics. But if they're so advanced, why are they the ones usually burning my retinas out on the highway?
Well, that happens when you mix old tech with new tech. It's driven by what the sources call the lumen lie.
The lumen lie, meaning like the aftermarket companies bragging about how bright their replacement bulbs are.
Exactly. They sell you theoretical raw brightness, which is lumens, but pure brightness doesn't mean you can actually see better if the light goes to the wrong place. What you actually care about is lux.
Which is the usable light physically hitting the asphalt in front of you.
Right. So imagine a traditional halogen housing. It's essentially a precisely curved mirror engineered to catch light from that tiny glowing wire perfectly suspended in the dead center.
And it bounces it exactly down onto the road.
Spot on. Now imagine taking out that 360-degree wire and shoving in a flat LED chip that shoots light out of its sides. The mirror catches that light at entirely the wrong angles.
Oh, wow. So instead of bouncing down onto the road, it's missing the target and bouncing straight up into the sky and directly into the eyes of oncoming drivers.
Yes. The photometric data in our sources actually shows that slapping a cheap LED into a standard halogen reflector creates up to 9 times more upward glare.
9 times?
Yeah.
That's insane. You're literally just paying for a massive lumen count to blind people.
Yeah, it completely destroys the beam pattern.
Okay, but what if I buy a brand new car with factory-installed LEDs? The mirror geometry is perfect there, but I swear in bad weather, those crisp ultra-white lights actually seem worse than the old yellow ones.
You're not imagining that either. It's a physics problem called scattering. Everyone wants those cool, white, ultra-modern 6000K LED lights for the aesthetic, right?
Right, they look very high-tech.
But because water droplets in fog are relatively large, they act like tiny, chaotic mirrors. So when you hit them with high-energy, high-frequency blue light, it bounces violently right back into your pupils.
Wow, so it doesn't cut through the fog at all. It just builds this blinding, opaque curtain of light right against your windshield.
Exactly. Meanwhile, older, warmer 3000K light actually improves your visual contrast in fog by over 43%.
That's a massive difference.
It is. What's fascinating here is that our biological preference for warmer light completely contradicts the aesthetic trend of these ultra-white LEDs.
And here is where it gets really interesting, too. It's not just the color that messes with our biology. It's how these LEDs dim themselves.
Ah, yes. Pulse width modulation.
Right. Basically, to dim the light, the LED rapidly and invisibly flickers on and off hundreds of times a second.
And even if you don't consciously see that flickering, your retinas absolutely do. Our sources document this invisible strobe effect, triggering severe migraines, dizziness, and eye strain.
So it's a literal hidden biological hazard. Wait, if throwing these aftermarket LEDs into old cars is blinding people and the flickering causes migraines, why is the guy at the local auto parts store legally allowed to sell them to me?
Well, the regulatory landscape is a complete mess right now.
Yeah.
Europe has actually developed a rigorous, smart approval system to ensure specific LED retrofits safely match specific vehicle housings.
But in the U.S.?
In the U.S., under the FMVSS 108 standard, it is explicitly banned to drop an LED bulb into a halogen housing for road use.
But they sell them anyway under that loophole of off-road use only, right?
Precisely, which leaves drivers entirely in the dark, legally speaking. But, there is hope on the horizon. We are moving away from simple bulbs entirely and entering the era of matrix LEDs.
Yes, this blew my mind in the research. These matrix arrays, they don't just act like static flashlights. They use forward-facing cameras to actively track the road and oncoming cars.
Right. To connect this to the bigger picture, they constantly and instantly deactivate individual microscopic LED chips within the headlight array as you drive.
So just imagine driving in a future where you never have to turn off your high beams again. Your car is just constantly reshaping the light, casting dynamic black shadows strictly over the windshields of oncoming cars.
All while keeping the rest of the road perfectly illuminated. It's reshaping the physical light around the world in real time.
That is wild. So the next time you're driving at night and get blinded by a passing truck, remember, you aren't just dealing with a simple tech upgrade. You're navigating a highly unregulated optical physics experiment.
Very true.
And maybe, in a few years, your car will just do the quantum math for you.